Okay. Newcastle Friday night. You've had a week off, well, 2 weeks in your case. How much are you looking forward to going up there?
It's exciting. I think it's always a really tough challenge going up there. Obviously, a very long journey away for us boys on a bus, but it's always been a really tough encounter whenever we've been up there. It's always been a very physical game, and crumbs a quicker surface, but ultimately it comes down to how hard you're prepared to carry the ball and how hard you're prepared to defend. And I think if we can win that battle of physicality, hopefully we'll come out on the right side of the result.
Rob spoke this morning about, he said, you're there or thereabouts in terms of where you want to be. He said Sarries are out in front, but the rest of the league is pretty tight at the moment. You've got to find that consistency was his key term.
Yeah, and I think if you kind of look at our results, yes, all right, the Sale and the Gloucester results got away from us, but I think the performance within those games, I think we were fighting for the majority of those games, and there's no question of fight or work rate within what we're doing. And I think a lot of it, if we can start gelling a little bit better, just in a couple small phases, I think we'll be able to apply a lot more pressure to teams. And you look at the league table, it is very close. A couple of weeks of decent results, and all of a sudden you're a lot higher in the table. So first things first, we've got arrive well up at Newcastle and start getting the performance markers right before we can kind of think about points.
Irish was a big performance, so in a lot of ways, just to get you back on that winning track was key, wasn't it?
Definitely. They're a team that beat us twice last year. You got to pay them full respect. That they've really improved. So I think it was really important as well to get that home victory, kind of get the crowd behind us, and I think the lads stepped up and really put in a good shift.
You'll have the captaincy back this week, but Daft Jenkins took it on for that first game. Big week, couple of weeks for him, wasn't it, in particular? Yeah. And these young lads in particular, they're having to step up, aren't they?
Yeah, he did really well, didn't he? That's stepped in at 19 to captain the team, and then getting called into the Wales camp and getting capped. There's not many weeks that are going to top that for him, and he's only going to grow in confidence as a player from it. The exposure he's getting at a young age is fantastic for him, and I think he didn't just lead really well, he performed really well as well. So hopefully he's going to keep on growing and be better and better for us.
Rewind the clock back a few years, you were in a sort of similar younger group, your Knowlesies, yourself, Dickie, Slady, that group that came through. You had to learn, didn't you, on the job? But you had some big name players around you. Do you see yourself as that guy now who has to help those youngsters and offer that little bit of advice?
Yeah, to be fair, with the young lads coming through, I think they're encouraged a lot to kind of talk and be vocal, and I think that probably reflects well in their performance, in that people around them are more confident in what they're doing because they're really clear and decisive. And that's probably a big thing coming through is, yes, you're chucked into a difficult environment, but I think when you come in there with confidence, you're sure of yourself, you're sure what you're doing, it gives people around you a bit of trust in what you're doing, and it definitely shows.
I guess there's a bit more pressure on these guys compared to when you guys came through, because the club has been used to winning in recent years or getting to finals, that everyone expects Exeter to win every week.
Yeah, and you almost want that pressure because ultimately teams want to be at the top, don't you? You can't just come in and expect it to happen. You've got to come in and make it happen, and that's probably the difference and probably what we fell into a little bit. So it's just making sure that you do actually turn up and perform. You can't just turn up and expect this to happen.
You alluded to Newcastle and the threat they pose. They showed it against Gloucester last time out. They're going to be tough to beat.
Definitely, and I think they can always kind of bring those performance levels. Yes, right, you could probably say everything just clicked for them. But you got to give them full credit. We went up to Gloucester and didn't get our performance right at all, and they got that bonus point win. And we did far too many tries, but they showed how dangerous they can be with the result. And
this is the start of what Rob has called a busy period now. You've got games coming thick and fast. Champions Cup is not a million miles away. Some big games over the festive period. Exciting, I'd imagine, for players.
Very exciting. I think this has been a really big week for the squad as a whole, because you've got your squad getting ready for Newcastle, but also the lads getting ready for the Prem Cup game on Saturday. It's been a really competitive training session we've had out there, and when they get competitive, they end up being better because boys are pushing each other and challenging each other.